This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. And while it's Sunday, I figure it's a good day to chat some Puljujarvi. But that said, I hope you're having a great Easter. A family isolation Easter. That's what we're going to call it, alright? We're not calling it self-isolation. I do hope you have somebody at home with you, or if you don't, at least reach out to some family this weekend and well, talk to them. Because, you know what? That's what Easter's all about, right? Is the big message here in Alberta is just because you're celebrating Easter at home doesn't mean you can't celebrate it with friends and family across the province, the country, wherever they might be. There is FaceTime, there is stuff, so definitely if you can reach out, reach out. And at least wish somebody a happy Easter. I already did that first thing when I woke up this morning, and I have probably never been happier to get a sticker on Snapchat back saying Happy Easter. So that right there made my day, especially when it goes that early in the morning, right before you're even really out of bed. I woke up, I wasn't out of bed yet. But that said, all right, let's get to it. Yes, Puljujarvi, ladies and gentlemen, what are we talking? We're talking. I somehow missed an article on March 18th back in last month where Puljujarvi is best off to play another year in Finland, according to his coach Mikko Manner of the Finnish Liiga team Karpat. Now this is, let me read the quote. Puljujarvi played nearly a perfect season, Manner said, as per Google Translate, so take that as you will. There are many people who have told him what he should and should not be doing, what he should be like. Yessa made the perfectly right decision when he decided to return to the familiar club and got a big role. I claim he is the most popular single player in the entire league. This season has definitely restored him the joy of play, self-confidence, and the feeling that he is important. The next step is to develop the details and skills to strengthen his mental, tactical, and technical footprint. And then he goes on to say, if I could decide, he would still play next year in Karpat. I think that would be the right place for him to continue to develop. So, here's the thing. In this whole Puljujarvi mess, right, this whole, since this time last year when he was going back to Finland, all that, I have been hard that it's a whole Puljujarvi issue. And yes, to quite a degree it is, but the other side too is we've kind of now seen what a year under Ken Holland looks like, right? Is we didn't push anyone up to the NHL first thing, right? There was no Puljujarvi, Ty Ratty, and Kailer Yamamoto are the top three Edmonton Oilers right wingers to start the season like there was last year, right? The roles for younger players have changed under Dave Tippett and Ken Holland, and that's interesting to note. Even a guy like Joakim Nygard and Gaetan Oss, who are playing in the NHL for the first time this season, they're much more mature, much more professional players at this point in their career, 26, 27 kind of deal. And here they were playing 3, 4, 5 minutes a night for the first 2 or 3 games of their careers in the NHL. So that's right. Like, we've seen this drastic shift. And now the question really becomes, you've got a coach in Finland that really wants to keep Puljujarvi there. You've got Puljujarvi by most accounts who still doesn't want to come back to the Oilers. And then you've got the Oilers trying to maybe maneuver him back in if it's the right move, or trade him, as everyone suggests, even in the article is suggested, at the draft, right? So you've got a lot of moving pieces when it comes to this whole Puljujarvi mess. But the thing is, you go back to that article and it's just the stuff he's still got to work on, right? They're still talking about having to work on the tactical side of the game. They're still talking about having to work on the technical footprint and his mental aspect. So at 21, guys, this is kind of maybe where the Oilers failed, is not realizing, yeah, right out of the gate, Puljujarvi was not ready for it. Now, obviously, I know there's been people that, and I think myself, I've reported that his agent pushed for him to play in the NHL right away. So it's I think at this point, what I'm ready to admit with this whole Puljujarvi mess is that, simply put, it's just a mess. And at the end of the day, I think the way to put it is it just wasn't meant to be, right? Bringing Puljujarvi to the NHL, bringing him in as an Edmonton Oiler, it just wasn't meant to be. And that's fine, because I've been pro-trade Puljujarvi, and that's great, that's dandy, we'll get something for him. But the thing is, what worries me is the quote here. And what has to happen here in the next little bit is we have to decide what we're doing with Jesse Puljujarvi. But the quote when it says that he still has to work on the mental, technical, and all sides of his game still, that's a very concerning thing for me because that means that he's still a year or two away from being an impact player in the NHL. And you talk about that, well, okay, the Oilers, yes, we have no timeline to trade him, but still, if you're looking at trading him at the draft, that's really troublesome. That is very, very troublesome because you've got a guy who's 2 years away and you're trying to hype him up after he's played 2 or 3 years in the NHL already, right? That's the problem here. Is it's really interesting to see how this just continues to kind of devolve into something that you almost don't want to deal with because day by day it shifts to what you can and can't do with this situation. And I mean, no matter what side of the Yes Puljujarvi argument you take on, it's just been interesting to see how he's succeeded to a degree in the Liga, right? He was a top 5 player in the Liga this year. There's no denying that. But the problem is in the Liga, like even there's still some troublesome spots, and I know I've harped on the shooting percentage all season long, but guys, of the top 10 scores, Jesse Puljujarvi has the lowest shooting percentage by 2.8%. He's at 6.1. The next lowest shooter with top 10 goals in the league is an 8.9. That is to me concerning because we keep talking about Jesse Puljujarvi having an elite year in the Liga, yet he only produced a 6.1 shooting percentage and 24 goals. When there's guys scoring 33, 27, 26, 26, he's tied for 5th in goal scoring. That's not a problem. But even when you go down all the way to the top 10 scorers, he's still the bottom shooting percentage and barely up there. Like, right? He's still 9 goals off the pace of number 1. So, I mean, yeah, sure. That's fine and dandy. I've harped on that. I've been told not to harp on that. That's good. But there's still, right, like I'm saying, there's still a lot of work to be done with Jesse Puljujarvi when it comes to his game, and that's what's kind of got me fearful here. That the simple fact is this is just going to continue being a complete circus because there aren't any easy answers here, right? And I think that's what I'm ready to admit is there just is not an easy answer. There's not just a trade him at the draft and be fine because quite honestly, then you know the ex-Oiler curse, right? We are talking Jesse Puljujarvi, according to that article from March, is a year or two away still. Well, I'm sorry, the ex-Oiler curse, every time we say that, the dude lights up the league the next year, right? That's what we're talking is we just have this dumb, stupid luck that bites us in the butt every single time. Well, let's just put it this way. We can't afford that with Jesse Puljujarvi, but at the same rate is how do you not when there's just absolutely nothing to be done on a guy who's 1 to 2 years away, according to his head coach in Finland. I mean, yes, he's 21 years old. All right, that's not a big concern. He's 21 years old. He's fine. He's dandy. We still have plenty of time. Like, he'll be 22 in May. 22, guys, you know what? 24. A lot of guys don't break into the NHL till 24. So, what are you going to do? But right? Is this the number 4 overall draft pick? And again, I think the frustration for me is simply put the Oilers didn't get this one right, but this one wasn't able to get right, right? This is a 2-part failure on both the player's side of the equation and the team's side of the equation, but again, it's a stumping question of you trade him and he'll light up the league. It just seems like that's the way it's going, even though his coach is saying he's got 1 to 2 years to go. Now, perhaps the interesting part of this article, and I'm sorry I'm reviewing an article from March 18th that's probably out of date, but the interesting part is that, and the feeling that he is important. Well, I'm sorry, Jesse Puljujarvi, I guess, and it's indicative of the entire Oilers teams from 17-18 and 18-19, is there was a lot of guys who didn't want to accept their role, right? What's made the Oilers a 1920 success is accepting roles, right? Sheehan, Archibald, Nygaard, You think about Benning on the back end. You think about Chris Russell. You think about Adam Larson learning more to just stay home, shut it down, and elevate his game. And just guys going out there and doing the job, right? Kyler Yamamoto came in to just do what he did in the AHL, right? Like his mantra was do nothing different from what you do in the AHL level, and it worked. I think the problem is, right, on those 17, 18, 18, 19 teams, there were a lot of guys that didn't want to accept roles, right? Drake Caggiula, a guy who was gifted top line time, couldn't accept that, couldn't accept bottom time, right? Traded to the Chicago Blackhawks. And you look at Jesse Puljujarvi, who was given multiple roles but couldn't accept any of them or couldn't live up to any of them. And that's maybe more the problem with Jesse Puljujarvi is he couldn't live up to the roles he was given and he couldn't accept the roles he was given because of it. And you look, right? Team failure, player failure, right there. That's kind of the equation that's led to this mess. And my goodness, guys, my head hurts after talking about this for 11 minutes. But I think just my update on Jesse Puljujarvi from everything that I can figure out is just status quo. I mean, literally, I'm doing a video because I can't find any news on him. That's exactly what this video is all about. So status quo with Jesse Puljujarvi, not much to report. You know what? That's totally fine. I think that's the totally fine thing here to say is not a concern at this point, and perhaps I'm rather glad that we haven't had to talk too much Jesse Puljujarvi stuff because I think that causes more headaches than it's worth as you see me not able to function after talking for 12 minutes about it. Guys, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I will catch you in the next one.